Obviously a really good win for us on Saturday. You could see the difference it made to the boys, especially when we go 2 quick goals up. Just the body language, everything about it seemed to really pick us up and take us forward.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly playing it felt more like ourselves. Attacking football, creating chances, scoring goals. 5 different scorers. I still didn't get one, but no, it's good. Can only take confidence from it against a decent side. A few good older pros and that in it, so aye, definitely a good result.
It's one of those games that you go into it and there's a lot of attention paid to it. I've seen it named a couple of times or picked out a couple of times as a potential cup upset. You can understand why both teams really keen to get through for all sorts of reasons. So to do it so comfortably must have given you all a great deal of belief.
Yeah, as I mentioned, they are a good side. They have good players, and I think where their club's at the moment, it was massive for them to get through. So we knew that was all coming at us when the game kicked off. But as you say, we got that early goal, grabbed another one, and we settled in the game very well. And as I say, much more like us.
It's the easiest thing to say, of course, but I guess the most important thing now is we take that into Saturday coming, because 2 big home games coming up before we go and play Dundee again in the Cup, but starting with Dunfermline on Saturday.
Yeah, it's our biggest game of the season. There's no sugarcoating it. We're not in a great place. We have to win on Saturday, in my opinion, and we have to win a couple of games quickly to make that ground up. I believe we can do it, but it needs to start soon.
It'll be interesting. The 2 games against Dunfermline this season have been fairly tight. The one each here, which we probably should have won, and the 1-0 defeat over there, which we probably could have got something out of as well. Very tight games. Do you expect much of a difference from Dunfermline, given they've got a new manager just in the door?
No, probably they'll have that bounce you get from getting someone in the door. They'll think that if they can come and get something here on Saturday, it kind of put us to bed. So we need to stop that from happening. It's always been close games. I've played them for 3 years now, and it's always nip and tuck. But we're at home on Saturday. As I say, we've turned a corner, in my opinion, the last month. We've not had the results to match it, but I think the performances have definitely been a lot better. So we just need to keep performing like that and hope that the points will come.
We have looked a lot dangerous the last few games. I think you're right. The last maybe 5 or 6 games we've looked to carry a lot more threat going forward. I guess now it's about doing the kind of thing we'll do on Saturday and taking those chances at the right times when we're on top in the game.
Yeah, hopefully the boys getting a goal each, as I say. Ben getting a goal. I think he's massive for us. We get him firing the way that we know he can, then he can rocket us up that table. Especially having games in hand to play and stuff, you're a week away from really clawing points back. We just need to keep believing. As I say, I believe we can do it, and it's just time to do the talking now.
That's really it. I mean, I suppose it's one thing to talk about, it's one thing to look at it, but you guys want that game as soon as possible, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, the confidence is definitely up in there, and Saturday can only make that grow. So another win on Saturday, and things will be starting to look up.
Is it important that obviously all the players know the reality? No one's naive to not know where the teams lie in the table. You know, it's 9th and 10th, so it's huge. But is it about harnessing that and using that to go forward, or do you need to be a bit clever and make sure you're not playing the occasion more than the game?
Yeah, as I said earlier, there's no sugarcoating it where we are. We have nothing to lose, because probably everyone outside of this building has us written off anyway. But as long as everyone in there believes that we can get it back and we keep performing, as I say, to the level that we have recently, I do believe it will come.
Nice as well to see out in the training pitch we've got some bodies back. We seem to have a kind of fuller complement of players the last couple of games. That makes a difference as well.
Yeah, that's massive, because 9 times out of 10 the starting 11 doesn't win the game. It's the subs coming on, they need to make an impact, and we've now carrying a threat off the bench as well. Massive for us. Means players can get rested, rotated, whatever we need to do, and we're going to need everyone for the run-in.
Well, we'll go on to Saturday and we'll speak to you after the game. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rhys, just quickly, the cup draw made last night. We're back up to Dens Park. Hopefully it goes better than the last time.
Aye, or one of the last 3 or 4 times we've played them. Obviously, would like that kind of glamour tie we got away from home, but listen, we're under no illusion it'll be a tough tie, especially going up there. We've experienced that in the past. It's really, really tough. They're going well at the minute, so again, one that you can look forward to. Probably going there as the underdog, so hopefully we can go and cause an upset.
2 home games to come before that though, so starting off with Dunfermline, they'll have taken a boost not just from getting through as well comfortably at home against Steny, but new manager, changes in the kind of ownership of the club, so they'll maybe come here with that win behind their sails a wee bit. Do you think that will have an impact on how they set up?
Possibly, obviously, just because the new manager might have his own ideas and principles and things that he wants to kind of drill into his team. But at the same time, it takes a bit of time. It doesn't just happen overnight and in kind of one game. Ultimately, it's a 6-pointer. It's the team that's closest to us down the bottom. We know what's at stake, and likewise they'll do the same. They'll know what's at stake. So important that we go out there after a really good win on Saturday, and we go out kind of full of confidence, trying to get the 3 points.
It's always good to come in and chat with you guys and everyone behind the scenes, but on the back of a comfortable victory, 5 goals, it's just nice to see everybody just that wee bit of an extra spring in their step.
Of course it is, and it's pleasing as well from our side of things, coming in a Monday morning, no feeling like you've no slept for 2 days trying to analyse the games and stuff back. So boys come in as you'd expect, few goals, comfortable win, full of kind of energy and high spirits. So it's important that we use that, we lean on it as fuel, and we want more of it. It's your drug, that 3 points or through to the next round, that winning feeling and mentality, and it's something that I've kind of touched on before. It's about trying to find a level of consistency, and no better way to start or try to implement it on Saturday.
You talked about it already. It's obviously a big game. We know the positions both teams have in the league right beside each other. A chance to cut that gap and really put some doubt in their minds. Do you have to sort of put that out your head, or do you try and harness that going into the game?
A bit of both. I think in terms of your preparation and stuff, you make it clear which, to be fair, the boys in that know they're not naive or silly in terms of they know where we're at, and they know kind of what's at stake in terms of they're the closest team round about us, so they know that picking up points, especially to the teams that are close in and around it, are obviously vital. But at the same time, you don't want to put too much focus and emphasis on the game. You still want to go in there with a confident kind of positive attitude that we're going out there with a game plan to go and execute it and try and get 3 points.
1 each the last time they came here, and again we probably should have won. We were unfortunate, have a penalty given against us that shouldn't have been, and then over there a narrow 1-0 defeat and a kind of a soft goal that we concede in questionable circumstances. But there's not been much between the two sides in the 2 matches.
No, there never is, and to be fair, even going back to days of the League One days when we played them, they were always competitive. I think even kind of touching on the 2 games, I think the game at their place when they get a narrow win, we used to have a stonewall penalty with Cammy Cooper, I think it is, going down, which obviously is missed, and likewise the game here that we draw, I think that the penalty that they get, I think it's Murray at the time, kind of gets contact on the ball, goes out for a corner, there's no real big appeal, and kind of cost us a wee bit of the day, because like you said, the game here at home, we probably deserve to win that game, but it's a fresh game, we know it's at stake, there's been a change in kind of ownership and management, so we know that obviously there's always that kind of new manager bounce, so maybe get a wee lift of confidence, but again we're on the back of, like I said, not being a million miles away. It probably sounded a bit French and whatnot to what I'd kind of previously touched on, that we're scoring goals, we're creating chances, it was just minor tweaks, and ultimately getting kind of some players back, getting some minutes into the leg, much more kind of healthy looking squad, so you've got that ability to go and change things and bring on kind of substitutions that are going to impact the game, as opposed to just bringing subs on that are fresh legged. And I think you've seen that probably the last few games, all the subs and everybody's contributed, and it's been a real kind of team effort, not just the lads who've started, the boys that have finished the game as well, and that's obviously going to be the message. But listen, one that we're looking forward to, these are the games that you want to be involved in. Of course circumstances we'd like them to be a lot better, but we are where we are, and we've got to make sure that we go in there with the approach to get 3 points. That
additional sort of strength and depth that we're starting to get back now obviously does give you maybe a couple of decisions to make in certain positions and things like that. Just wanted to ask how Lewis Strapp is, obviously having gone off against Livingston, and how Mason and Gav are after going off at Dumbarton.
Aye, so Strappy was obviously my own doing, so I apologise for that, but listen, he come through kind of joking aside, we went up to A&E and got the right kind of checks and stuff. The doctor checked over his head and his neck, and there was no real area of concern. We went to monitor him for a few days just to see if there was any delayed reaction, so he's came through that okay. He's trained as normal, so Strappy will be back in contention. Mason again just kind of felt his hamstring, his other hamstring now, so we'll wait and see. Hopefully it kind of settles down over the next couple of days and we can get a proper assessment on how severe it is. And the other one that you said,
Gav
again was a bit, I think he's rolled his ankle the way that it landed at the corner. He actually does well. I think it's Gav that gets the defending clearance and lands on it awkwardly. Nothing too severe. Try and get the obviously inflammation and stuff settled, but shouldn't be any kind of real concern.
Means that you'll have a couple of different positions then where you might need to think about who's going to play where, who's going to start, and who's going to be in a position to be an impact sub off the bench to make a difference to the game later on.
Very rarely, you ask probably any manager or any coach in this league, and very rarely it's the same team that starts the game that finishes that merits winning the game. You know, subs have a massive influence in the way games of football are played now, whether, like you say, that's coming on when you're chasing a game, whether you're defending a lead or looking to kind of change your format or tactics, whatever it may be. So their impact, they come on to make an impact, and how you describe that can be varied, but at the same time we're now, I would say, in a healthier position than we were a couple of weeks ago when we were kind of down to the bare bones, and you're asking boys to kind of grind it out and kind of fight through that probably stage where they've got nothing in the legs and there's only so much that they can give. So being able to change things and have that luxury has been good, especially the last few games. And like you said, the boys coming back, it gives you a headache, but it's a good headache. And again, then the responsibility falls on the players. You've got to make sure that you're training well, you're putting the effort and the application in, and like I say all the time, that the way that you train, if you put that in and you show enough in training, you perform and given your opportunity, then it's up to you to go and get your jersey and stay in the team.
You've talked before about moments in games and how they can turn the momentum of a match. I think we've seen on Saturday the kind of old cliche being so true, that getting that opening goal and getting those goals at good times makes such a big difference. The first two goals aren't far away from each other, they're both early. The third and fourth goal follow on late in the second half. So I guess you're wanting something similar on Saturday. When we get those moments, we make sure we take them at the right times.
But that's at any level. You've got to be ruthless when you get your chances, but you've also got to be ruthless when defending them. And especially at this level, you tend to find the first goal and stuff, they always say it's massive in this league. But even kind of reference back to the Dumbarton game, we put an emphasis on starting the game well, because we know how tricky these games and cup ties can be. You go away to a ground that, with all due respect, the playing surface isn't the ideal for both teams, but you don't want it to then become a 50-50 battle and a scrap. You want to go and show your quality, show your level of kind of fitness and having that kind of full-time background. So we put a big onus on the week being that we start aggressive, we press at the right times, we're clinical at the right times, and you've seen that in the first kind of 20 minutes. Probably maybe could have had 2 or 3, but we get a comfortable lead, and then the second half, like any game, regardless of who you're playing, naturally they come into it a little bit just because they need to get back into the game, so they probably commit a little bit more than they did the first 20-30 minutes. We kind of say weathered the storm, if you want to call it that, but we managed to readjust and get our formation and discipline kind of side it off the ball working really well, and then it was about getting back to what we'd said at the start of the game. We had that off the ball stuff, and it was about, can we get those moments when they start to obviously attack the game a little bit more and go and kind of punish them and execute the finishes, which the boys did really well, to be fair. I think even Ben Wilson's one late on, and then obviously getting 2 set pieces as well, something we worked on.
The support come down in really good numbers at Dumbarton, get right behind the team and kind of showed that unity of spirit, but we'll need them again on Saturday. And listen, it's not something that I've ever questioned, to be honest. Home or away, every time we seem to come to a game, under the circumstances and the run and stuff we've been on, supporters are there in their numbers, they're there with their scarves, their flags and whatnot, and they get behind the boys. And listen, I get the element of frustration as well when you're not winning games of football. That's part of it. You deserve the scrutiny when it comes, but listen, you can never complain. Fans pay their money to watch their team, their beloved team, and when they obviously don't see results and stuff on the pitch, then they're entitled to their opinion. They pay their hard-earned money to do so. But like you said, for the position and stuff we're in, we're going to need probably every wee edge that we can get, whether that's at 1 or 2%, and if it's getting the fans kind of getting behind us and getting kind of on our side a little bit, then it gives us a better chance. So there's been no kind of issue or kind of rallying cry as such. Just like to obviously continue to support the boys, and
you start to see that the performances and the kind of way we're looking started to get better. It's still not where I want it to be, of course, but we're getting there, and it's small steps. We just hope that obviously we can start to do it really, really quickly.
Rhys, thanks very much, that's brilliant. Thank
Cheers.
you.